Emotional attachment is not something men hand out freely. For most, it takes time, trust, and a depth of connection that goes beyond surface level attraction. When a man finally allows himself to be truly attached, his behavior changes in subtle but undeniable ways. The walls that once protected his emotions begin to lower, and a different version of him starts to emerge. These moments are rare, but when they happen, they reveal the deepest truth about his heart. When a man becomes emotionally attached, the first sign is not always dramatic, but it is deeply revealing. He starts prioritizing your happiness over his own comfort. This shift doesn't happen overnight, nor is it something he forces. It unfolds naturally, like the quiet bloom of trust. He begins to notice the little things that matter to you. The way you like your coffee, the songs that make you smile, the details that others might overlook, but he holds on to because they bring him closer to you. His actions change, and they reveal something more powerful than words, that your peace has become a part of his. He might rearrange his schedule just to spend more time with you, even if it means sacrificing something he once valued as essential. His nights out with friends, his hobbies, his free time, none of it disappears, but it subtly takes a back seat when he knows you need him. This isn't about losing himself. It's about placing you in a space where your needs are not just acknowledged, but honored. He starts listening differently, not just waiting for his turn to speak, but absorbing your words because your thoughts carry weight in his world. And when you're hurting, he feels it too. That empathy pushes him to act in ways he might not even fully understand. Suddenly, he'll go out of his way to make sure you're okay, whether it's a late night call to check in, driving across town just to see your face, or quietly handling things you didn't even ask for because he wants to lighten your load. In those moments, his happiness is tied to yours, and the smile he wears is often born from the smile he brings to you. What makes this transformation powerful is that men are not wired to give away their comfort easily. For many, comfort is control, stability, and independence. But once attached, that independence bends. He begins to redefine happiness, no longer as something he chases alone, but as something he shares with you. And in that sharing, he finds joy in being selfless, joy in putting someone else above himself. This is not weakness. It is devotion in its purest form, and it is the first undeniable sign that his emotions have rooted themselves deeply in you. When a man allows himself to become emotionally attached, one of the most profound changes you will see is the lowering of his guard. Men are often raised to wear armor, to carry their emotions like hidden treasures locked away from the world. Vulnerability is rarely encouraged, and for many, it is something that feels unsafe. But when attachment takes root, when the bond feels real and unshakable, he begins to let you see pieces of himself that no one else is allowed to witness. This is not weakness. It is trust unfolding before your eyes. He starts to share his fears, the quiet doubts he normally buries deep within. The moments of failure he would usually hide, the insecurities that live beneath the surface, even the wounds of his past, these begin to surface in your presence because he trusts you to hold them gently. For him, this is monumental. A man can laugh, smile, and even say, "I love you." But when he starts letting down his defenses, when he shows you the raw places he once covered in silence, that is when his attachment is undeniable. It's in the small confessions telling you about a childhood scar that still lingers in his mind, admitting when he feels unsure about his path, or opening up about the struggles he hides from everyone else. In those moments, he reveals not just facts but emotions, not just stories but the weight behind them. He hands you a part of himself that could be easily judged, misunderstood, or rejected. And yet, he offers it because his heart tells him you are safe. This vulnerability doesn't always come in words, sometimes it's in his actions. The way he lets you see him when he's tired, when he's stressed, when he's not at his best. The way he lets silence exist between you without trying to fill it, because even in silence he feels understood. The way he shows you that he doesn't have to be strong every moment, that he can rest his burdens for a while in your presence. These are not small shifts. They are seismic changes in how he experiences love. And what makes this powerful is that men rarely allow this level of openness with anyone. It is not casual. It is not shallow, and it cannot be faked. Vulnerability is the ultimate form of trust, and when he gives it to you, it means he is not just attached. He is building a bond that he believes can hold the full weight of who he truly is. When emotional attachment takes hold, a man no longer thinks only in terms of today, he begins to invest in tomorrow. What once felt like a relationship built on moments of fun or passing excitement transforms into something deeper, something that demands presence and energy. He starts to weave you into the fabric of his plans, not because he feels obligated, but because he can no longer imagine a future that doesn't include you. His thoughts shift from me to we, and that change becomes visible in the way he makes decisions. He begins to consider how his choices will affect you, whether it's in his career, his lifestyle, or even his daily routines. If he takes a new opportunity, he thinks about how it will shape your time together. If he makes a long-term decision, your presence in that vision is undeniable. This is not about dependency. It is about integration. He no longer views life as a solo journey. It becomes a shared path where your happiness and stability hold weight alongside his own. Time becomes one of his greatest offerings. He doesn't just give you hours out of convenience. He invests in experiences with you, memories that are designed to last. He suggests trips, future plans, shared goals, not because he wants to impress you, but because he genuinely wants to create something meaningful. His energy shifts from temporary satisfaction to building a bond that can withstand the years ahead. He starts to see every moment with you as a brick in the foundation of something lasting. You'll notice this in the way he talks about someday. Someday no longer refers to vague personal dreams. It carries the undertone of togetherness. He may speak about a home, a family, adventures, or even the simple traditions you could build together. His mind begins to design a world where the two of you don't just coexist, but grow side by side. And with every plan, every effort, he invests not only his time, but also his belief that this connection has depth worth protecting. For a man, this stage is monumental. It signals that he is no longer protecting himself with the idea that he can walk away at any moment. Instead, he roots himself, planting his energy into something that requires patience, commitment, and care. Emotional attachment turns him into a builder, not just of moments, but of a future where the bond becomes the anchor for everything he wants to achieve. When emotional attachment deepens, what he begins to crave more than anything is consistency. It is no longer just about passion, attraction, or fleeting sparks. It becomes about stability, about knowing that the ground beneath his heart is solid. Men may act as though they thrive in uncertainty, but when their emotions truly connect, chaos becomes exhausting and peace becomes priceless. He wants to feel that the bond is steady, that the connection doesn't waver with every disagreement or challenge, that he can rest his heart without fear of it being dropped. This search for emotional safety reveals itself in the way he communicates. He no longer hides behind silence or distance when something feels wrong. Instead, he seeks reassurance and resolution. He wants to know that no matter the storm, the two of you can find calm together. His consistency shows in his effort. He doesn't vanish when things get difficult, doesn't retreat into himself at the first sign of tension. Instead, he proves with his presence that he is invested in something more permanent. The little routines you share begin to carry great weight for him. Whether it's daily conversations, shared rituals, or simply knowing that you are reliable in your affection, these moments become anchors that keep him grounded. Consistency allows him to trust that love is not a fleeting fire, but a lasting warmth. It reassures him that he doesn't have to keep his guard up, that he doesn't have to wonder where he stands, because the bond provides stability in a world that is often unpredictable. This desire for consistency also shows in the way he manages his own emotions. He works to avoid unnecessary drama, to keep promises, to show up when he says he will, because he knows that stability is a two-way exchange. In return, he quietly longs for the same from you, that what you give him is not just bursts of affection, but a steady stream of presence. For him, safety is not only physical, it is the security of knowing that his heart is in reliable hands. When a man reaches this level of attachment, he no longer chases the highs and lows of romance like a thrill seeker. Instead, he seeks the steady flame that doesn't burn out. He wants peace more than excitement, reliability more than unpredictability, and depth more than surface level sparks. And in that desire, you see the purest proof of his emotional attachment, the need not just for love, but for love that lasts. When a man becomes emotionally attached, a powerful instinct awakens within him, the desire to protect. This isn't about control, nor is it about dominance. It is a deep, almost primal urge to guard what he values most. When his heart belongs to you, your well-being becomes inseparable from his own peace. He feels responsible, not because you cannot protect yourself, but because his attachment makes your safety and happiness a personal mission. In his eyes, your pain is his pain, your struggles are his battles, and your victories are his joy. You will notice it in the subtle ways he shows up for you. He checks in when you're out late, not because he doubts you, but because the thought of something happening to you unsettles him. He steps in when you feel overwhelmed, carrying part of the load so you don't have to carry it alone. He becomes more aware of the people around you, the environments you step into, and even the tone of conversations, because his instinct to shield you extends beyond the physical. It is emotional, mental, and spiritual. This sense of responsibility transforms his actions. He becomes more deliberate in the way he treats you, careful with his words because he knows they can either comfort or wound. He may start planning ahead for challenges, wanting to prepare solutions so you never feel abandoned in difficulty. When you're vulnerable, he stands taller. When you're silent, he listens harder. When you feel weak, he becomes strength. It's not that he sees you as fragile, but rather that his love makes him want to be the shield against anything that could harm you. What makes this instinct even more telling is that men rarely extend this level of protection casually. With acquaintances, with passing connections, they may offer courtesy or kindness, but true attachment turns courtesy into devotion. He no longer thinks of himself alone. His choices now carry the weight of your presence. He will sacrifice comfort, convenience, and even his own desires to ensure you are safe, secure, and valued. This is how a man shows that his heart is tied to yours, by making your protection not just a gesture, but a part of his very identity. In this way, protection becomes more than an instinct. It becomes a love language. It is his way of saying, without words, you matter to me so much that your well-being is my responsibility too. And when you see this unfold, when you feel this shield around you, you can be certain that his attachment is no longer temporary. It is deep, enduring, and unshakable. When emotional attachment settles into a man's heart, something profound begins to happen. His very sense of self starts to merge with the relationship. He no longer views himself as a separate entity moving alone through life. Instead, his growth, his identity, and his purpose begin to intertwine with the bond he shares. This is not about losing who he is, but about expanding it. You become part of the lens through which he sees the world, and his decisions, ambitions, and dreams carry the imprint of your presence. You can see this in the way he speaks about the future. It's no longer my goals, but our goals. His victories feel incomplete if they are not celebrated with you, and his struggles seem less daunting when shared beside you. He starts to measure success not just by what he achieves alone, but by what both of you can build together. His identity is no longer built in isolation. It is shaped by the partnership he cherishes. Even in small details, this shift is clear. He takes better care of himself because he knows his well-being affects you too. He becomes more disciplined, more responsible, more focused, not just for his own sake, but because he recognizes that the strength of the relationship depends on his growth as well. He stops thinking in terms of mine and yours and begins to see life as ours. His attachment turns self-improvement into an act of love because he wants to rise not only for himself, but for both of you. This blending of identity does not erase individuality. Rather, it creates harmony. He still dreams, but his dreams are colored by you. He still grows, but his growth is shared. He still defines himself, but now that definition includes the bond he protects. It is in this stage that attachment becomes undeniable because his sense of who he is cannot be separated from who he is with you. And when a man reaches this place, it becomes clear that his emotions are not fleeting, that his love is not shallow. The relationship has become a part of his foundation, a part of a story he tells himself about who he is and what his life means. To him, you are not just someone he loves. You are woven into the fabric of his identity. And in that weaving, his attachment transforms into something lasting, unbreakable, and deeply rooted in who he has chosen to become. When a man truly becomes emotionally attached, it is not a surface level attraction, nor is it a passing phase. It is a transformation. His priorities shift, his guard lowers, his energy invests in the future, his heart seeks safety, his instincts rise to protect, and his identity begins to merge with the bond he shares. Each step reveals a deeper truth. Attachment is not about fleeting passion, but about devotion, trust, and the willingness to intertwine his life with someone else's. In the end, the signs are never in grand speeches or empty promises. They are in the consistency of his actions, the depth of his vulnerability, and the way he chooses you again and again, not out of convenience, but out of love. When these 7 things begin to happen, you are not just a chapter in his story. You have become a part of his very foundation, the place where his heart finds both purpose and home.